It's good to be great and it's great to be good. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. ThyGap Podcast, Episode 9. My name is Bogus Noob. I'm here to welcome you in the esteemed presence of...
being proved.
Actually, I was going to say our special guest, because Brut, you're third. In the esteemed presence of our special guest tonight, Lostradamus.
Nostradamus.
Lostradamus.
No, it's with an N, not with an L.
It's Lostradamus.
All you need to know is that I predict the future.
The claims have always been false.
Yeah, but I predicted that you'll be part of a podcast 4 years back.
Yeah, I truly am grateful for that prediction. Because
And
if
here
it
you
was
are.
not for me telling you that, hey, Lostradamus, me and Bogus are planning for a podcast. And then when you said, you will do it, guys. And yeah, I'm really grateful for that reassurance.
So
I
there you go. Proof
predicted the
is
future.
in the pudding.
Absolutely.
Lostradamus.
And I'm not a bogus, like looking at someone's hands and reading the palms. I don't have a parrot who reads a tarot card. It's all in the head. It's from the heart.
The visions that Lostradamus has always claimed to have, especially under the influence, was always very accurate. And guys, just to reintroduce Lostradamus, one of our old lost friend who's recently come to Hyderabad, and he's now a part of Hyderabad like anything else that has entered Hyderabad.
Unlike coronavirus.
Unlike coronavirus.
And
Bogus.
as he predicted, in 4 days' time, he's going to be a man of Bangalore soon. There you go. Lostradamus, man of wisdom, man of vision.
My work here was done.
Just 4 days.
That's how great I am.
And now diving straight into the conversation, the reason why we are recording this episode is...
For you to join the conversation at our socials. Follow us on Twitter at ThyGap and _ThyGap at Instagram. We were supposed to create an email address, but as you know, it's quite a complicated thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they asked for the Aadhaar card, the PAN card.
You need to go on a
It's
vision
very
quest to
Yeah.
come up with the exact right name, you know. And the Aadhaar card and the PAN card.
Yeah.
How about thygap@gmail.com?
Oh my God.
Oh, how did we not think about it, Bogus? How did we not think about it?
But it's too soon, I think. I feel like we have to spend a lot of time and effort into it.
Yes, and before we end this particular segment of giving our socials,
Right.
please like us on Facebook at itisthyGap.com.
Wow. Is it really? It is thygap.com.
Yeah. ThyGapItis.com. Fuck. How can you misspell it, Bogus?
Right.
Being a professional podcaster, you should have these things at the tip of your tongue.
We're going to have a great future this way. Like, I can see it.
Yeah, Lostradamus predicted it, that I'll be
Lostradamus
sleeping on the
did
floor.
predict it.
Yeah.
Predicted great things for us.
This podcast is what is our direction to poverty.
And that's where we take our confidence and we take our motivation from.
Yes, Divya Drushti, Hausla, Dhrud Sankalp.
Prathishta, Parampara.
Oh my God.
Oh. Once again, Lostradamus has proven us wrong.
I don't like doing that, you know.
Yeah, I know, but it's a force of habit. I can see
Yeah,
it.
I know. Unfortunately, you know.
The influence.
Don't look at it the way that you lost. Look at the way that you learned something.
Yeah. Positivity.
Wow.
Bogus.
Lostradamus. A good man and a great man. But what does it mean?
If it
I
all
would
is just a
prefer
lie.
only great.
Oh, Lostradamus. A great man. Just a great man. But what does it mean at the end of the day?
You should do it always, not today.
Why are you whispering into the mic? Like, you should do it always.
Because it's a mystical secret, bro.
Oh, I apologize.
That shit's not something you order at a cafe, bro. It's a
Yeah.
mystical secret, bro. It comes
I
down from the
agree.
mountains, dog.
Also, I didn't know I was whispering.
Come on.
Got it. I've learned something new.
Lostradamus. Man of mystical secrets. Gracing us just for once. Only once on ThyGap Podcast, never again. Because that's the value. So, Lostradamus. It seems befitting to ask a great man a question about greatness.
It does.
Yeah. Who else would know, really? What?
I know. Not the
Does-
both of you for sure.
Okay. Brute, you know the thing I said about never again?
Yeah.
That's why I said it. I predicted that.
No, I'm still stuck with the point where you
I'm a good student of Lostradamus. I predicted the conditional entry.
Learning fast.
That's what I'm
learner.
here for. I'm here to just give people my knowledge
See?
so they can be better at everything that they do.
The pile of shit that we are seeing right now, it's just growing exponentially.
I think you should try flushing it then.
Lostradamus, a man for solutions, a man for life. ThyGap podcast. Subscribe.
And share, guys. And share, please. Share.
And share.
So coming to today's episode's topic is...
Greatness.
Yes. What is greatness? We are planning to talk about greatness, and we have Lostradamus with us, who in fact is instrumental in suggesting the topic.
Yeah, he said, guys,
Yeah.
just talk about me.
Yeah. And then we were like, what are you? And then he said, I'm great.
Fucking great, that's one.
Intense. So we were like, great. Okay, we'll speak about greatness and what is greatness. So last time was the first question. I give you the opening podium for you. Can you describe in your own words what is greatness?
You're looking at it.
Intense. What an answer, Bogus. Can you believe that he described with that sound what greatness is?
You know, I didn't even have to hear it to know that it would be great.
You just telepathically know what greatness is. It's so amazing.
That's one of the...
Once again,
irritating
Lostradamus
points.
has done it.
It's just the byproduct of an audio podcast. I just regret the audience is not able to
See this
soak
visual.
this in.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We are sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We are sorry that we are the only people who are like experiencing this. It's an unbelievably forgettable experience, trust me.
Just the aura.
Oh, and the smell.
Oh, yeah.
I do private functions for 10 lakhs.
Lostradamus, a man of commerce, a man of practicality.
And and materialistic needs. Mostly in currency.
No, I take that money and invest it back inside my temple.
Lostradamus, the man of architecture and brick and mortar,
And the priest of his own temple.
and the guide to his own self. Wow.
What a blessed day.
What? I mean, when did we, in the wildest dreams, did we ever see this coming?
No, we didn't predict this.
Nope. I'm sure last time, did you predict this?
The coming of greatness?
Lostradamus once again, guys. Typical political behavior, asking a question with another question. What a man.
Like any other man.
Lostradamus, passive aggression to the finest. A man of few words.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I like driving the point in.
Lostradamus likes driving, guys.
But back to the question. I want to hear out Lostradamus's input
Yeah.
on
Enough fun.
what
Enough fun.
what is your understanding of greatness? What does it make you picture when you think of that word?
Being the best at one thing. Or multiple things, actually. Being the best at it.
But doesn't greatness seem to imply some level of popularity?
It does.
So if you're... Okay,
If you're
I
great,
see.
you are popular.
But being the best, suppose I could be the best at my job in my office, but I
You'll
wouldn't
be popular
necessarily...
in that circle.
Is that really great though? Like, is that the scale? Okay, then I want to clarify that I'm talking about a big scale, like a grand scale. Greatness. Society level.
I think greatness at any society level also is just being the best at what you do at the end of the day.
No, I think, okay. What I see is basically you're talking about doing something with absolute perfection, right?
Agreed.
Right? So at that level, the number of people, the population of great people would be pretty high, because there will be a lot of people who do things like to the T by the book, etc. Right? But somehow from a societal sense, I don't think greatness is perceived like that. Like for you said that being the best at what you are, right, is greatness. But how many people do you know around you who are actually best at what they are, but you don't say that, hey, this is a great.
Unpopular opinion, I don't agree to that. If you're great at what you do, you won't be around. You'll be going places. That's just the rule of life.
But there are some cases where they're really not ambitious at all. Like they're just great at what they do, but...
So then I don't think that they're great, right? Then how you define them as being greatness?
Okay.
If you're the best at what you do, then ambition will drive you towards it. If you're not ambitious, you cannot be the best at what you do at any given point of time.
I mean, ambitious in the sense, like there was a guy in my previous ex-workplace. He was like the subject matter expert in our field. And people all around him kept growing, and he basically never had an issue with it. You know? They all kept growing, but he was just interested in subject.
So obviously so let me just go take it a step further.
Mm-hmm.
He did not care about him growing. That means somebody
career
else,
ladder, he had
somebody else grew above him.
Oh yeah.
That means somebody else became better than him.
Not better. He was still better.
See, this is a point, right? The thing is, the notion is, if somebody is higher than you, they're better than you.
Right.
It's not necessarily
true. It is
true,
the notion, I agree.
Right? But that's not necessarily true, right? I mean, for some people, it's not about...
No, but then I also... now, if you go back to the scenario of the company, right? And I honestly believe this, that if he was that good or that great, then his manager or somebody would have pushed him to achieve even that further.
No, he was quite vocal in resisting it. He was like, it's not for me, something like that.
Yeah, and also see, there are so many external factors, right? External factors, like if you take sports, for example, there are a lot of talented people who get pushed down. They're not necessarily encouraged by the coach or by the team management or whosoever it is.
But then they don't become great. They will never become great.
Yeah, so that is why we are asking the definition of being best at what you are. Does that imply to greatness? Greatness in itself is to be looked upon in a different way?
I get the point of the logic that you're coming from, right? But my logic of the fact is that it might sound very cold, but if someone is great at what they do, the data or the statistics would support that. And that person, if he's great at what he does, would not let peripherals around him or situations around him affect him being to that goal. Since you brought out sport, right? Let's take Messi for an example. From where he came, like as a 9 to 10-year-old boy from Argentina, making that name or making that fame. He's not the only one. There are like hundreds and zillions of them.
Right.
How did he become where he is today? He did not let these things affect him. He fought through it, right?
Right. So who defines the best? Or how do you define the best then?
I would say that in this context...
we're looking at from the context of becoming the greatest or becoming great.
There are multiple things in, right? It's also the hard work which drives him there.
Yeah, well, actually, before that, I think we need to clarify one thing. There is something in the background.
Clarify to who, Bogus?
Between ourselves, which is when you say greatness, right? Because when you started off, it seemed like you were also talking about greatness at a small scale. Like if you're in your office, if you're good at what you do, then you're great. But now when you say Messi, that's a completely different thing because that is like grand scale.
But then that's what I also started off by saying, popular. Right? That being the best at what you do at where you are. Now, sport is a bigger equation at the end of the day. Right? My job is a smaller equation as compared to him.
Right.
But in my surroundings, it might be big at the end of the day, right? I might be a small CEO of a small company.
Yeah.
Right? There is also a Anil Ambani or a Mukesh Ambani, right? Today or a Nazim Premji also, right? They are at a different level. That's a different scale again. So that I think at the end will be relative, will be from situation to situation.
Right. So what you're saying is, on its own, at every relative scale, greatness is changing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that there is only one great guy in the entire world. That is not possible.
No. We are talking about... Okay, let me reiterate it. How do you define great?
Shouldn't greatness be defined by some kind of data or some kind of this thing? Greatness cannot be just my objection at the end of the day. I might be one guy, for example, person number A, I might be the only one guy finding him great. Does that really make him great?
That is what we're trying to.
That's a good question. Yeah,
we
that's a
are
really
actually
good
trying to figure out that. The reason is, okay, Bogus, before we go deeper into that, I want to understand what, according to you, is great. Like, what is greatness according to you? How do you define greatness?
So, I agree with the whole relative scale thing.
Right.
Like, you can be great even in a smaller scale.
Right. Stop piggybacking
in a smaller world.
Lostradamus.
I gotta agree with Lostradamus, dude.
Oh, I apologize.
I mean, this is Lostradamus.
Yeah.
I predicted this.
See? So... But what I wanted to discuss right now with you guys is a very specific aspect of it, which is the grand, the Messi, the Ronaldo, that level of greatness. You know, like society is impacted by that. And it's not just small micro circles, but it's a huge macro thing. So I wanted to agree upon like that definition for this episode, and we start riffing on that. Like, I want to hear what you think.
Okay, but the reason is how I look at greatness is very different. Okay. For me, it is relative in a different way. Mm-hmm. But the nature of great people, right? People who become great, there is a certain constant behavior in people who become great at different levels, right? For instance, how I look at greatness is anybody who has pushed the boundary in his field, right? To a point where nobody went.
But is it known? Is it well known?
It's not. See, the very fact that nobody has gone to that point.
But isn't
for example...
Sorry to cut you.
No, don't cut me off.
No, absolutely cut him off. Dude.
Don't cut me off. I'm a privileged guy right here.
The chief guest is Lostradamus.
Aren't you just putting it in different words or saying
Lostradamus, once again.
That he was the best
interruptions.
And what he does.
Sorry. I apologize, Your Highness.
No, but then again, isn't that the same thing? If he's pushing boundaries, it means he's the best at what he does.
Not necessarily. See, because, there is no guarantee of performance or a result just because you push the boundary. So it is not necessary. For example...
No, but we're not talking performance and results, okay? Now we're just talking about great. I'm just saying that someone pushes a boundary,
right?
Doesn't make him great because the boundary was set by somebody who was the best at that point of time.
Yeah, so...
And now somebody else is overtaken him and he's become the greater at the point of time.
So the relevance it comes at the highest magnitude, not at the beginning. What you said, correct me if I'm wrong, and Bogus, stop being a... Stop being... Stop
I'm
being
listening.
you. Okay? Stop being you. That's what I just wanted to tell it out there.
It'll be a shitty podcast if you stop being yourself.
It is already a shitty podcast with you talking.
Let's not make it shittier then.
In my great words... Be yourself always.
Lostradamus, man of truth. Words which are already spoken.
Man of truth. Lostradamus,
guys. But yeah.
Truth bombs.
You said just farts? What did you say?
Truth bombs.
Okay.
Truth bombs.
I apologize. Truth bombs. Hashtag truth bomb, guys. But what I'm saying is, in a smaller scale, right? Lostradamus, please listen to me. Look at me when I'm talking. When you say that it is relative at different levels, right? For me, it's not necessary. There I can identify someone as being the best. Yeah. Right? So the other thing is what I'm talking, how I define greatness is somebody when he has gone to a level, okay? Suppose if there's an unknown territory, right? Say if it is a study about, I don't know, like say aliens, for example, right? And then there is this one guy, right? Who makes that conspiracy a reality by creating a tangible study or whatever research and all,
right?
And he creates a solid proof where suddenly it has become accepted that you know what, this is how aliens exist, this is how we know aliens exist,
okay,
right? That for me is greatness. He has gone to a point, there must be some boundary, right? So the person who's created that boundary was great in his own time. But he went to the highest level. He played the game at the highest level where nobody else was playing. So it goes beyond competition, So if you talk about Messi, right? Messi became great not because he was talented, right? Messi didn't come into the football scenario saying that, hey, he's the greatest ever player. But he proved the point.
No, did they not look at him as a prodigy when he was young?
He was a prodigy, but he was not great. He was not termed great because at Messi...
No, I think they looked at him as a prodigy even when he was very young, like just coming in.
See, a prodigy is talent. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you consider Sachin Tendulkar great from the moment he
prodigy.
started
No,
playing?
but then we are not saying that you attain greatness from when you start, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. So at what point do you call Messi great? You call Messi great when he start doing these unthinkable things that was previously never done in football.
Or a big stage.
A big stage.
Just
big
he's doing
stage.
it on a bigger stage.
So Zidane became a great player.
So then I would like to just add one more thing over
Last time I'm telling you, if you ever cut
he's
me
not
off
won the
like
World
this,
Cup till date. Will he still count him great?
if you cut me off,
You're welcome
like
to
this.
cut him off at any point of time.
Okay,
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't
cut
care.
me off like this, Lostradamus,
I can predict the future.
there
and
is
I
going
can
to be
see
a fine.
You won't do shit to me.
There is going to be a fine that will cost you your life. I know people who can damage you physically. But anyways, yeah, you're saying.
Like you were saying.
You were saying.
No, you were saying that.
Then I will say. Because
now I will say.
No, I will say.
I will say. Hello.
My question is.
You said you were saying, so I'll have to say.
My question is.
Yeah.
We have to consider at some point of time the perception of greatness from outside, like others, people as a society. What they consider great. Obviously, it has to be very well known.
People from a society will
It can't
consider
be-
greatness when. Now, how do I put this across? If you ask a normal person who is a great person or who are great people according to them, they'll pick the popular ones itself at any given point of time.
Right.
That is the way societies are built, I guess.
Right.
It is about having that. What's the exact word for that? Inspiration, maybe. That you are inspiring towards that or whatever. The people will always say that. Like I go back to my previous example of saying that if I'm a CEO, I might be great at my small level what I do. But even then, if I ask some layman out over there, that whom do you think is great? He's still going to say Mukesh Ambani is great.
Exactly. So that is why I'm saying when you play the game at a level, competition doesn't exist. Right? You are creating your own competition. For instance, before Roger Federer came into the game, right? Who was the greatest player?
Sampras.
A bunch of them.
Sampras.
Sampras was there. Boris Becker was there. There was McEnroe. There were a bunch of people, right? How did Federer, right, started getting this notion that even the greatest players of tennis at that point started addressing that Federer is the greatest ever. Because there was consistency.
Over a period of time, but like you said, metrics, the data.
Because he's won the maximum number of grand
Right.
Grand
So
Slams
is
that are
the
there.
execution of your talent or your skill.
You think if you won like 8 Grand Slams and had the same talent, you would still be like, you would call him great?
No. Obviously
No,
not.
yeah, it won't.
It's in the data, like you said.
Right?
Yeah.
That is what
But what is the
happen.
data conveying? That's my question.
The data is conveying that he's the best. Or
In that way, okay, coming back to the point, would you call Messi the greatest because he never won a World Cup, neither any national cup?
But it's
So
a
why
team
would you
thing,
call
right?
Messi a great?
It's a team thing and he's one guy.
Doesn't matter.
I will.
No, but that's it, right?
No, but
Okay,
that data is showing that he didn't win the greatest, he didn't win the toughest competition.
Okay,
And he couldn't perform in certain ways of how the game is played.
I'll get a cricket reference for you
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
Alright. Do you think Amol Mazumdar,
Huh.
who's never played, I don't think he's played for India ever,
No, never.
do you think he's great?
I don't think so.
I think so. And I'll tell you why. I go by again, like at the start we said it's at different levels. Greatness has to be at different levels and you can't have the same thing over there, right?
Right.
So, in domestic cricket, if you look at it, he's got the highest number of runs scored ever, maximum number of games played, blah, blah. He's great at that level, right?
But he's not playing with the best. See, if you're breaking it down, my problem with that
Thank
theory
you so much for
is,
saying that.
my problem with my problem with that theory is, right, how you're not evaluated on the basis of ground level talent, right? Everybody is, it's easier to catch the big fish in a small pond. But what we are talking about is how do you play? There are, like you said, the peripherals that we consider is what is the pressure situation that he's playing in? What is the kind of expectations he's playing against? What is the kind of talent he's playing against? Is he playing with a mediocre talent or is he playing with a talent which is also considered to be competitive at that level? So there are multiple factors. So what I would say about Amol Mazumdar is I don't know whether he is a great player or not, but he missed an opportunity of showcasing whether he can become a great player or not. Do you know this singer Karunya? who won the Indian Idol and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was dotted to be like this, okay, this guy is going to be the next Ilayaraja kinds or not Ilayaraja, sorry, Ghantasala kinds. And he would become like the best Tollywood singer, etc., etc. He vanished.
Yeah.
He never did playback singing. He probably did a few movies or, in the beginning stages. And he vanished. Similarly, I also remember one guy, I don't remember his name. He was a North Indian guy who came up with his own album. And he also was a winner of Indian Idol. And Indian Idol is the best example.
Oh yeah, the first winner.
The first winner of someone.
Indian Idol, yeah.
He vanished.
I think he didn't vanish. People made him vanish. I think there's a difference between both.
I mean, those industries, you don't know what's happening there.
See, this is exactly what I'm saying. It would have been very easy, right? Even for a Messi or a Ronaldo to be pushed by the system to get out of the system. Okay? This is what defines a great person to a person with talent. And this is also what Harsha Bhogle has once said. Greatness just doesn't come with talent. Greatness comes with this ludicrous, effort or hard work that they put in, apart from the talent that they carry, which will make them, it's by hook or crook, I want to play at that pedestal. And you see that in a Virat Kohli. Sorry?
You have to play the game dirty, basically.
Whatever it takes. There is no good or bad at that level, right? Which is what comes to the point, like, what is more important, being good or being great?
Greatness
right? Or what is,
and goodness.
Yeah, greatness and goodness, right? Where I feel, when you're aiming for that level of, or that platform, or performing at that platform, there is no good or bad. There is no right or wrong. It is whether you will make it there or not. Once you make it there, how you want to conduct yourself is completely a subjective point.
But then don't you also think that is an individualist decision? That when I know for a fact I'm destined for greatness, do I also want that level of goodness inside me? Or do I say, screw the goodness, I want to be great?
Yeah, it's absolutely an individual choice. Yeah. It is. But,
like Sachin maintained that balance.
We don't know that. Like, honestly, we don't know that. But yes, if you talk about the... I'll give you a better example.
I'm talking about what is data is available in front of me, right? I'm talking basis that. What I don't know is all hypothetical at the end of the day.
Yeah, so I'll give you a better example. Michael Jackson, right? Okay. One of the greatest, like, he is like the pinnacle of pop culture, right? He set up he created a paradigm shift where he swayed audience world across, from a rock background to pop background. People just migrated from AC/DCs and your Metallicas and all, and suddenly they were like, hey, I want to go to Michael Jackson's show. And how many artists started popping up in the pop genre after Michael Jackson? How many people were there before Michael Jackson who actually were doing pop, right? So it's obvious that this guy was one of the greatest ever the music history has seen.
Yeah, and
right?
Quincy Jones
behind him. Yeah, behind him. And there's a team, obviously. There's always a team, even
but
for
mainly that guy,
right? But the face of it was Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
But do we consider Michael Jackson to be good?
No, not at all.
Right?
I mean, I don't know.
We don't know. We really don't know. We have no black and white clarity of what was going behind the stage.
With what was available, my thing is no. Great at music, great at dancing,
right.
Great at all of that. Was he a good guy? No. I don't think he was a good guy. From what I know. Like you said again, I can be wrong.
Right? Now I'll give you another example.
Which happens quite often.
Or it could have been packaged in that way, It could have been presented in that way.
Yeah, but then my point is that he didn't try to fight it off also.
He did.
He did. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? One of the most...
To the point of losing his life, he did.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'll give you another example. Okay. Steve Jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider him one of the greatest entrepreneurs the face of mankind has ever seen?
Absolutely, yeah.
One of the biggest visionaries in the corporate industry?
Yep.
How many things... Either of you, have you read the Steve Jobs biography?
No, I have not.
I have not read the biography, but what I've read is one of the Apple guys from the Macintosh team.
So
he has a blog.
Right.
So he put up...
Documents this...
he writes about everything that was going on.
Right.
There I think there will be a fight because I actually think Bill Gates would be the greatest or the entrepreneur that has ever walked the planet.
Oh,
no, see, at that platform there are multiple.
And to be really honest, they're from the same era also. They're not from different eras technically.
Yeah, they're from the same era. It's like, Rafael Nadal and
Exactly.
Roger Federer, right?
That guy,
Still Roger Federer.
yeah, that guy, if you take just like numbers and, that metric only, then...
No, but also look at the vision of bringing what he brought to. I might be wrong,
He's
but
trying to
for
bring
me,
vaccines,
Apple at the end of the day was just packaging the same thing in a more better and a more revenue.
Which is what I'm telling. Pushing the boundaries. What Steve Jobs did, right? Why it's called visionary is because what was existing and what people were thinking that, hey, I'm happy with this thing. Like, I'm happy with a Motorola or a Nokia phone.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs saw a possibility which nobody saw or bothered seeing.
Yeah.
Right? So he made a paradigm shift in how people start perceiving aesthetics of something that you use daily, right?
Yeah.
So that makes him great, right? And the reason is, the reason why I say Bill Gates and Steve Jobs have two different mindsets is Steve Jobs was more about envisioning something better and creating something more futuristic.
Creating more value.
Creating a value out of nothing. As Bill Gates was more of a inventor kind of things.
Bill Gates was for the masses.
He was not an inventor.
Sorry?
Bill Gates was for the masses.
You can put it that way too, right?
Steve Jobs thought about things. That's why I always think Steve Jobs just knew how to push the boundary in terms of making people spend. He knew that people would spend if they find something better.
Right.
Something which is more looks more great in design wise and everything.
Right.
And it's more convenient.
Bill Gates just said that, you know what, screw that. I'm going to go for the masses.
Right.
I know everyone wants this.
Right.
This is what I want.
Right.
And that is where I think that Bill Gates is a thing over Apple
Right.
or over Steve Jobs.
Correct.
Because he got the base to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs took the base and said, you know what? Let me just take this and make this a lot sleeker. Make it a lot more things. He added off his own this thing also.
It doesn't matter from where he picked up. That's what I'm saying. It's like saying Messi is not that great because the guy who invented football is the greatest.
But yeah,
You always make it better. See, the greatest guy is not necessarily...
I don't think those two things are equated.
No, but it has the same pattern.
Yeah,
right?
but Steve Jobs is a good example because he's undoubtedly a great guy. But would you associate goodness? I mean, if you know anything about his personal life, you would say no.
Yeah. So, and that's where I'm driving the point to, right? If you have to go to that level, there is a price that you pay. Lot of people don't go to that point because they're afraid to pay that price. They're afraid to sacrifice. They're afraid to let go. They're afraid to compromise. They're afraid to do a lot of things.
Or it's not about being afraid, but it's a conscious choice that you don't want that exchange or the transaction.
That's whatever might be the reason, they don't want to pay the price. Right?
So yeah, I see it as a combination of 4 different categories. One is just greatness at the price of everything else.
Right.
The other extreme is just goodness with no one knowing about you.
Yeah.
No one knows, but you're just...
You have a price to pay even there.
Yeah, you have a price to pay even there. Just maybe a few people around you are influenced and their lives are changed because of you. But that's about it. And the middle categories are goodness and greatness, where people manage that balance, that balance. And the other one is greatness that comes from just a lot of goodness. It starts off with just goodness, but it's so good that it becomes great.
If you go through all the 4 things that you have put across, right, you will find 95 to 97% or 98% in the first category.
Just greatness with the price paid.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. Yeah.
But the population, the volume that is there, I don't think it's a lot. How many people do you find great? How many people can you really associate with
But then again,
greatness?
like I told you, right, for me, greatness, when I'm coming to is, we pick up a subject. Like in sports, you say cricket who's great or football who's great. I'm talking in that context, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't just say who's the greatest. When you say that,
it's a
then
category.
that's not a category as such, right?
No, but let's talk about it like a category where there's no ranking, but it's just a group of people who are...
There's no ranking. That's what I'm saying. See, greatest doesn't have
then how
competition.
do you see the point of having great? See, when you pick out a certain subject, like a sport or like business, for example, right? There is a certain path where you say, okay, now he's great.
Right.
When you say that, okay, just tell me a normal great guy, you're going away from all those paths. There is no, what do you say, data-centric point Or there's nothing by which you can come and say, oh, this guy is the greatest in everything that...
Okay, yeah. So
that's a fair point.
We're not looking at number one as like a solitary position. Number one is like a place where a lot of people...
that's not what my point is. My point is the fact is that...
Yeah, I'll take it up.
Okay.
So it's an interesting thing because unfortunately we are driven by data, right? And I don't think...
Isn't that a good thing?
Not everywhere it works.
To a large extent.
It's not about good or bad, but it's not always... It doesn't always apply in a lot of aspects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, if I have to evaluate greatness, right? How the only metric that matters is the impact that they have done in their field of expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like how we were talking, Charlie Chaplin is undoubtedly one of the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Because the impact he created in movie making or storytelling as an art form, nobody could forget about people replicating it. But he has inspired a plethora
But then again,
of...
I agree with you on that. But then again, you're bringing out one particular subject and saying that
it is subject matter. It is subject matter.
So then we can't go back and say who's the greatest of all.
We are not saying who's the greatest of all.
We can never say that for anything.
We are not saying who's the greatest of all.
Yeah.
We are saying...
Apart from Amul dark chocolate.
Yeah, but we are...
Lostradamus, a fine connoisseur, a man of taste.
Yeah. So we are saying that how is greatness perceived? I'm not... Correct me if I'm wrong, Bogus. We are not looking at one greatest person in the history of mankind.
That's actually what I was trying to do, is that let's agree on what our perception is.
Yeah.
Like come to an understanding, okay, this is the thing.
Yeah.
And then we jump on that. Like,
right.
But then, okay, now in that what will happen is that, I don't think there's anything wrong in that.
Okay.
What the three of us will do is we'll pick out the subject which is closest to us.
Right.
And we will say, according to me,
yeah.
this is like for you, maybe...
we are not trying to figure out a person here.
Right?
Again.
No, that's what he just said, right?
No, we are not trying to figure out a person here. We are trying to figure out how is greatness evaluated in itself.
How are we evaluating
it? How are we evaluating
for
greatness?
This episode? Like, how are we looking at it?
It might be from any subject. It might be from any field or anything.
But what is
the one... Sorry?
That who does the best at what he does? That is greatness.
Yeah.
We agree to that, right?
Yeah, at relative scales. But then, are we talking specifically about the big greatness, the macro or the micro?
Yeah, so micro greatness, everybody, like there's a great guy every colony because the bracket is so small.
If you
can keep breaking it down to like who's the greatest in this room, everybody will be like, I.
If you just throw around the word great, like without meaning it, that's a different thing.
Exactly. So when you talk about great, right, you obviously talk about from a bird's eye view. It's not micro. Micro, you have so many...
I don't even agree that you can be great in micro.
That's what I said. That's what I was telling, that it is not relevant based on the level. If you have to define the true greatness, right, you have to take into consideration at what stage did this guy become the best of the best or became the best at what he is doing.
But
how do you evaluate that he's done the best at what he's doing? When you see him play the game, or when I say play the game, in every field at the highest level. Right? Now, we have an understanding of what is the highest level, depending on the subject, right? If there's a scientist, you're basically talking if this guy is in NASA or whatever is... What is a scientist biggest platform for scientists? I don't know. But...
Private funding, bro. Like Bill Gates.
Yeah. Maybe that. So, yeah. So that's where I say that goodness doesn't have like a scope when you are going for greatness.
It's very unfortunate, but that's the truth.
Yeah, that's ugly truth, guys. Ugly truth.
Yeah, you have to kind of compromise on the level of greatness you're going for.
Yeah.
Probably be happy or content with a smaller.
Right.
No, but then again, when you say that the kind of greatness you go for, again, it's more of what boundaries you're going to push, right?
Yeah.
So then in front of people, eventually at a larger scheme of things, you won't become great.
You will.
No, how will you become?
Because...
See, when you have your own boundaries set, you and I, okay, for example, I have boundaries set, you have no boundaries set. I will say I'm going for greatness. At some point in time, something will make me stop, right? But for you, since you're okay with no boundaries, you'll cross it.
That is what I'm saying. It is also the impact you create.
And he'll die before you.
So that only I know.
You win.
No, it's like, see, the impact you create at the end of the day, right? that is how it becomes a norm that, Lostradamus is great.
I mean, he's already great.
I am great.
I mean, I'm just stating the obvious here.
Yeah, so let's stop doing that.
Okay. So I'll not state the obvious.
You'll be fine next time.
When Lostradamus continuously fails in his predictions, right, then he'll never become great, right?
If he continuously fails in his predictions.
If he continuously fails and say nobody listens to his predictions.
Right.
But if people listen to his predictions,
Which they do,
yeah,
and still if he continuously fails, then he'll become a bigger failure because more people know.
That's a big if.
It's a if. It's a big if, right? But I'm not stating the obvious here.
No.
So that is where I was going.
But it's funny, So Nostradamus.
1 second. He said funny, Bogus. Let's laugh. Ha 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 ha.
Thank you.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I was saying, thank you so much. So, okay, so let's go back and he put out a very, this thing of the 4 categories of greatness, right?
Yeah.
And just for the sake of it, let's just say let's just try to put one person maybe in those 4 categories.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Right?
Good exercise. I think Lostradamus predicted this before we started the episode that we'll do this activity.
I mean, yeah. It's a good activity. I'm down for it.
Yeah.
First category, my candidate for... Can it be fictional or does it have to be real?
What a genuine doubt.
Like a movie character,
What a genuine doubt. Who would you pick? John Wick?
No.
John Wick, the guy who pushes the boundaries every part?
No, the protagonist in Citizen Kane. Have you guys watched it?
I don't... Dude, stop doing this.
Okay, it's that businessman without ethics kind of thing where he eventually...
No, so let's make it easier.
Okay.
And be like,
let's tell
no fictional.
Okay,
let's tell things that everybody knows
The first category of paying the price, but going for greatness.
Yeah.
Why don't you start?
What nonsense is this? Passing the parcel. This is...
Okay,
you start. You actually said that, okay, fine, I'll take it up. And then you're like, why don't you start?
I had an example, but it turned out to be fictional. So.
Okay, I'll start.
Yes,
okay.
Start.
Bill
Lostradamus.
The man who starts.
Bill Gates.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it like Antakshari? It's just like one word. Like
shit, yeah. No, how come I didn't think of it? Yeah. Lostradamus. You're right. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Brut, what about you?
I would say Michael Jackson.
Oh, no, I wouldn't agree.
I won't agree. I'll actually put him on the other 3 categories.
What?
Yeah.
You're saying that the one who was not who's not paid the price for greatness? Are you crazy?
Oh, no, not willingly.
What?
He unwillingly paid the price for it, but not willingly.
See, potato. See, he could have stopped. He could have walked out at any point.
I agree with your choice, but maybe just not on my own this thing, not at this level. Because, here we're talking about somebody who in greatness, like
Tell me what
it was
did
unwilling.
Bill Gates,
willingly he took calls.
Tell me what sacrifices Bill Gates made.
Oh my God, this is a dangerous list. You really want to go into that?
Yeah.
Because he's done some things.
Yeah. So tell me, what is the sacrifice that Bill Gates has made?
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead first?
And then he'll predict what you have already said.
So this is the touchy thing I had with real life people, talking about them.
Oh, you have real life people in your life?
No,
yeah,
not
I'm
fictional.
here.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Lostradamus. Man of reality. But yeah. What example? You didn't give an example. You just said something else.
What? The question is, you are dickheads.
His example was Bill Gates for the first category.
Yeah, I said Michael Jackson. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, okay, yeah, you said Michael
disagreed
Jackson.
to it also.
We
You're
disagreed.
And I was like, dude, Michael Jackson didn't make sacrifice.
Let's go on.
Disagree doesn't disqualify. So yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to iterate how you conveniently forgot.
Yeah, I did forget. Yeah.
That's how unimportant you are.
Lostradamus. Man of truth. Man of power. Truer words have not been spoken in this podcast. So it's my turn now. Oh shit. First category paid the price. Anil Ambani.
Dude, he also has to be great.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
know.
that he just paid the price, but he has
I
not
mean,
done anything.
He's great enough. I said his name and both of you knew about him.
That's
Oh,
how
wow.
easy it gets.
What about
Popularity.
what about Akshay?
Oh, well, yeah, it's not literally just the both of us. It's more like general knowledge. It's more of general.
Anil Ambani
What
is
about
the
Javed Aviv in that
worst
case?
pick ever.
I don't know what price Javed Aviv paid, so I can't, But, okay, what, you want another example? Or you can just disagree and we can move on, right?
I forget
Second
about disagreeing.
category was...
Forget about disagreeing. I'm not even considering it.
Okay, the last extreme, the other extreme, which is just goodness, but no one knows.
Oh, that's
I'm
a
sure
tough
we have
take,
like,
dude.
well, we have many people in our life.
Give me one example.
Just goodness.
Oh, just goodness?
See, that's where the tricky part is.
There's
just
nobody
good.
who's great who's just goodness. We'll take our father's name. That's all we'll do. We'll be taking our grandparents and parents' name or family members saying that they are very good, but they're not great.
Where would you put Dalai Lama in this list?
Nowhere.
Honestly,
Absolutely nowhere.
I don't
Oh,
know.
I have an example of.
You don't know, right?
goodness.
I don't know.
Even I don't know.
Yeah.
I have
thinking
an
that-
example for goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judu Krishnamurti. Pure form of goodness.
Yeah, I think I would agree
Zero
with that.
economics attached to it.
Hmm.
Zero intent.
Who?
Judu Krishnamurti. He's a theologist who actually walked away from a very big scam of making him this god man. So he was. The brief history is. I'm surprised a lot of people actually don't know Judu Krishnamurti. But okay.
That also drives in the point, actually.
Mm-mm.
That also drives in the
Goodness.
point.
Yeah, it proves the point.
Yeah,
Goodness.
proves the
but
point.
the population is less. I didn't disagree to it, but the population is less.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling you about. So, Judu Krishnamurti as a kid was taken off into, who was that female? Annie
No.
Besant?
No. It's he was on the beach, Madras beach.
Yeah.
He was a young boy, and just as a young boy as well, he looked different. Just his demeanor,
Yeah.
it's deep eyes and all that stuff. Like
Intense guy. He was a
intense.
very intense guy.
You look at him and you know.
And when we say kid, we are literally talking about a 7-8-year-old boy.
Yeah. So then Charles Ledbetter, this kind of occultist type of guy, who was also part of the Theosophical Society, he was walking by the beach and he looked at this boy and he thought, this man is meant for greatness, like this boy, there is something in him that is next level. So he took him back to Theosophical Society and he convinced the people there to project this guy as he grows up as a guru, as a
god man kind
God
of
man.
thing. Yeah.
which as he grew up, he rejected. And so he had issues with that.
And it was a huge thing because they planned like this whole
Osho level stuff.
Osho level stuff. where
Ashrams in the US,
they were
ashrams here.
supposed to reveal him to the public eye or something like that on a big stage. And just before that, he just walks off. And he was, even then, he was not a big guy, right? I think he was
No,
20?
early 20s.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
He just walks off saying that this is all fucking bogus. I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm not going to fool people. And he walked off. And there's a whole, I don't know if it's mafia, but there was this huge, corporate kind of a structure that went behind him to like sabotage him for.
Hounded him, yeah.
Yeah, they literally tried to sabotage him. But he ended up sticking to his guns and he said, like, whatever you do doesn't matter. And you should check him out.
Looks very interesting. I'm going to finish it today mostly.
Nice.
Right.
But that's my example.
What is interesting is the names of his books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just throw out a few names like
Ending of Time.
The End of Time or
The
something.
Ending of Time is the name of the book. It's a dialect between him and a physicist where they discuss where exactly time fits in our lives and how we have to perceive time, what time actually does to our lives, etc., etc. And the physicist was it's David Bohr is a physicist who's on the other side of the conversation. And he comes from a very scientific approach of how time functions. He brings all these scientific theories, and Judu Krishnamurti rebuttals them, or it's not rebuttal, but he basically addresses them from the angle of a much higher conscience as to how time will work, or why time is where time actually fits into the whole picture. And one of the interesting thing he says is the human race took a wrong turn when they started depending on time, right? And in a way, that's when the human race started participating or looking at everything as a competition or a race, which is not how you look at your life. It's not about running a race against people or against time, but it's about living every moment, blah, blah, blah. Very philosophical, but he makes a lot of practical sense. That's what I like about him. He makes a lot of practical sense.
Especially now, what's happening now at this point of time.
See, all these theories, right? I strongly believe that they're timeless. They're independent of time. It doesn't matter. See, for us, because we are here now, it will make sense. But this conversation happened, say, about 60, 70 years back. It made sense even then for people who listen to it then.
Yeah.
It's just about when you're exposed to it. So what happens is always relative, right? There are few theories. It's like saying, oh, you have to be happy as a person, right? And we all will be like, especially in this time, it's important for us to be happy. But the fact is, it's important to be happy at any given time, right? It doesn't matter where you are or what is the scenario. So that is one. And there's the multiple, dude. There's stuff about intelligence in life or life in itself. He goes deep into you as a person. He basically explores he basically connects the external world with what you already have inside. And how do you make that connection to the reality within you, to what you're looking outside. So very smart. And one of the probably very few guys who I know of who are not commercial or don't have an economical angle to
Cool.
it.
Now my turn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only goodness.
Only goodness.
That guy who sold his Ferrari, man.
That guy?
Yeah.
Now we know why our podcast is not being heard by a lot of people. It's
Why?
moments like this.
I think that guy is more first category, actually.
Yeah. Because he got back money. If you would have given it for free, then it would have made sense. You sell a Ferrari.
Sell a Ferrari, get enough for 10 Lambos.
Yeah.
That's a cool equation.
There is not a better way of minting your money, right?
Yeah.
Sell a Ferrari. And then Seth going on a trip for self-realization. And then what's the money for? When I come back 5 years later, I need money to drink and get drunk, right?
So, Bogus, your turn.
Okay. My turn is the guy, the polio vaccine guy, who did not patent it.
Right.
He just gave it away for free.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. We should get his name.
But actually, he's not a good example for just goodness because he's also great now. Because people know about him,
No, see, but his intent was not to become great.
Yeah,
right?
not at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but there also...
even Judy Krishnamurti is great.
I think he's a better fit for another category.
No, but I actually disagree with you over
greatness through goodness.
Because nobody will even know who was like made the polio vaccine, to be very, very honest.
Jonas Salk.
Like that, for majority of people, that thought process will not go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And also, I go back to the fact of saying that he did not push the boundaries in a very dirty way, like compromise or anything, right?
Yeah.
He did not come out and say, this is my vaccine, I'm the guy who made the vaccine.
Right.
With Amitabh Bachchan, I should be also there in those ads. None of that, right?
He knew that the pharma industry would mint on that.
Yeah.
So that's why he gave it away.
Next category is goodness that goes to greatness.
Yeah. So
Right.
for that, I would put this guy. Or you're not agreeing that he's great.
How can you use the same example? I'll use the same example in all four categories.
Goodness that goes to greatness. Would you put, I would put Azim Premji maybe in this category. For a majority of people, he became greater after the philanthropy that came out of what he and his group was doing.
See, with Azim Premji,
Thanks a lot for the support, Lostradamus. I'm going with Ratan Tata. Because I think both apply.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But with Azim Premji, this is a lot of people had to pick up a bone with him because he owned 72% of the Wipro shares and he was one of the few CEOs who didn't dilute his stake, which was actually not benefiting his C-suite guys, like the other CFO, the CTOs and all of them.
Okay.
So all of them had like an issue with that, saying that, he's not letting it go and we are not getting to have as much money as him. And Azim Premji became the world's richest guy at one point because the fact that he owned 72% of it.
But then I also look at the fact of saying that instead of just keeping that money with him, the way he's gone out and also done so much for the society out over there, I like the fact that because he had that kind of
So
shares,
in that
he could do
reference,
it.
Yeah, so
in
the
that
C-level
reference-
people need to move towards goodness and stop talking about the money they're not getting and look at the money that they are getting.
No,
They're
but in
getting a lot.
that in that level, I find Ratan Tata to be much more apt example
Okay.
because he gave away a lot more.
But I agree with Azim Premji as well.
No, I mean fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair. I don't have a qualm, but
No, but
some-
again now, where Ratan Tata has given a lot back to the industry is what I would say.
that everybody did.
In terms of philanthropy, I still think that Azim Premji has done a lot more than what
So now
Ratan
the
Tata
question
has
is
done.
like, how are we evaluating goodness?
I mean, also the question is, how are we evaluating charity? Because
Yeah.
I don't think charity really works.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly my
I mean,
point.
I have my doubts. What is your... Because you have to pick now. It's his turn. We both are done.
Goodness that became greatness?
Yeah.
Vivekananda.
Oh, shit.
Oh yeah, actually.
No, greatness that became goodness, I guess.
No,
because
he was not great
No,
in the
no, no,
world
no,
speech.
he was good.
Well, the world conference speech is when he
Yeah,
burst
that's-
into the bubble.
And
of
also
like
it's
a
about the
world level.
ideology, right? His ideologies were entirely different.
He never promoted himself. He never went about
Oh, no,
speaking.
I was not actually disagreeing with Vivekananda. I was still stuck with the previous example. I was talking about that.
What?
I was talking about the
Jiddu
previous...
Krishnamurthy.
No. Just the previous thing.
Michael Jackson.
Jiddu Krishnamurthy, 45 minutes back we talked about it.
Then what are you talking about previous example?
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Bogus Noog forgetting his lines again
A
and
man
again.
of forgetfulness. Yeah.
So now comes the last category.
Which is
I'm going to wait it out to see if Bogus can remember what is the fourth category.
The parcel section.
What is the fourth category?
the fourth
Bogus?
category.
Oh, the fourth category. Holy shit. So I actually got it wrong. The fourth category is... wait, it was goodness.
Greatness, keeping goodness in mind.
Oh, yeah, the balance. The people who keep the balance.
Yeah. I have zero examples for that. I have literally
No, so but then okay.
Cristiano is a good example. Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, I would say
There is a
Messi is a
rape
better
case on
example.
him. There are like 4-5 people.
I was thinking about the philanthropy. Like he did quite a lot.
That's the point,
That
right?
is
Like,
like
how do you see
balancing the
goodness?
both.
Okay.
Why? I mean, because if you say Ronaldo, then I would say Messi has balanced it a lot more.
Mhm.
Maybe because he also kept this thing, private life, very, very private.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Clean
come
shit.
out. Very clean shit, right?
He has,
Mhm.
but then he had a tax issue. Like where his father had to be jailed in because of that.
Tax and all, bro. It's not morals and all
I
shit.
mean, that is...
Taxes.
Again, I'm not... Again, you're talking about the fact of saying that what is in his control.
Yeah. No.
So my point is that now it becomes tricky as to how we define
How we
goodness.
define that balance of greatness
Yeah,
and goodness,
like
right?
are we talking goodness as
I don't think I have an example for greatness and goodness.
There's
I
no
don't
balance,
think-
man.
I think there cannot be a balance. Because then you will not push your boundary for the greatness at the end of the day.
Like Amrish Puri for me is a good balance. But then you hardly know what the fuck happened in his personal life. But he's a great villain the Bollywood has ever
No,
seen.
but then leave the personal
Everyone
life.
says, everyone says only great things about Amrish Puri.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But was there a balance? I don't know.
Hmm.
Right? Amjad Khan.
It's very difficult to...
There are a lot of... So the problem is with greatness and goodness, right? Or for people who maintain that balance,
Mhm.
they end up becoming mediocre. Right? They fit neither there or nor here completely. They have one foot in each. So the perception ultimately gets diluted a lot.
What about Rahul Dravid? You don't think that's a balance?
No, but Rahul Dravid is
It's
great.
good. It's
There's
a
also-
close example.
What a guy, but
Yeah, what a guy. True. Cheteshwar Pujara, but he's not great.
He's not great as
Yeah.
well, right?
So Rahul Dravid, Jack Cullis,
oh yeah,
right? Gary Kirsten, the Brain Lara,
I don't know a lot about
Shivnarayan and
those guys.
Chandrapal.
Personally,
You
I don't have.
I mean, but we are taking cricket examples here. But Federer can come into that where he balanced very well. He's known for his charity.
Yeah,
One of the most trusted faces as a brand ambassador.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he has like a parade of things working for him.
Even Nadal, right?
Even Nadal, right? And you have Michael Jordan, right? But then again, Michael Jordan has his own share of
It'll get
being involved.
pretty depressing if all the examples are only sport guys. You know, like
Yeah, I
other
mean,
categories.
see, in movies, Anthony Hopkins is there, who I always felt, he's undoubtedly one of the greatest actors. Yes,
Hmm.
we don't know much about what his personal life is, but whatever I heard, Anthony Hopkins is this clean shit. Right. Even in shoots,
straight-laced.
Straight-laced. There's no qualms about what he says. Nobody complained about working with him or anything of that sort. Same thing goes for Morgan Freeman.
No. No.
Okay.
Are you insulting God?
No. There's a slight granddaughter angle. So let's not go there.
So, but see, that's exactly what I'm saying. We don't know the other. If we know one side of it, we don't know the other side of it to actually put our finger on and say like, yeah, this guy balanced it really well. Jack Ma, another example, who's supposedly done so much.
Slight CCP angle, so let's not go there.
Exactly. So everybody has an angle. There is not
so many
one
more
person
angles apart
who
from
I
that
can think
also with
of.
Jack Ma.
No, but I thought we were talking about the people who balanced it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that
You can't find,
you can't like,
find a person who balanced it. Like,
So you're saying you can't find an example out of sports?
I don't think, because I don't
out of
know the whole
sports,
story.
Yeah, no.
I will never know the whole story.
I was thinking
Autobiographies are being purged, dude. I mean, like, come on.
Nikola Tesla, my example.
What is goodness about him? What is the greatness about him?
Sure, he's the greatest scientist ever. Ever.
And he died in poverty. Oh, in that way, Fyodor Dostoevsky.
He didn't die in poverty, actually.
Dostoevsky.
No, I mean, he was not a good guy before. Then he reformed.
Yeah, so the end product, right? Everybody, like we discussed, it's the end product.
How about Nelson Mandela?
Dicey.
I don't know.
I would say
I don't know
the
much about
jail
Nelson
phase,
Mandela.
the Robben Island phase, that phase, seriously.
No, but then he was fighting for something that...
Yeah. That's
that-
definitely greatness.
that I don't... It was not against what you're saying... how do I put this across? He was not fighting for something like a robbery or a murder or something. He was fighting for equal rights.
I know. So that part was definitely greatness. But what followed, there's some mixed stories about,
Yeah.
But then, in terms of what would like put out over there and like trying to balance the act of greatness and goodness, I think...
Yeah,
my
Nikola
judgment,
Tesla, I
Nelson
probably
Mandela
would
is something
put
which I
my
would
vote
vote.
on. I would probably put my vote on Dostoevsky also.
They say that he had the blueprint or this thing for zero energy, which is basically creating energy
Tesla, right?
constantly.
Yeah.
And he never gave it away willingly to the government. His apartment was ransacked after he died.
Yeah.
Apartment in the sense it's a hotel room. in
And
New York.
Edison actually played a huge part in the downfall of Tesla, where it's basically
yeah.
nepotism kinds, where everybody boycotted, the science institutes boycotted Tesla,
Yeah.
and he was not allowed
Edison
in
is
at any level of
definitely
confidence
first
system.
category guy.
Yeah. Ramanujan, probably I'll put in both goodness and greatness.
But how many people know him again?
Whatever we know of him. I mean, see, he was not political. He was not politically
But then again,
driven.
that greatness angle goes away then, no?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
Well,
like my first
See,
example.
what Ramanujan has contributed to math is unparalleled till
But
date.
isn't he like the polio vaccine guy? He's
Yeah.
in the same category.
Yeah.
So you can't use him. He's not great.
You think
I mean-
goodness to greatness?
No, the balance.
So that's what we're talking about. The balance part.
No, but
Oh,
there's the great part. Like
no.
he was not as
So the
well known.
polio
By the
guy
way, guys,
was only goodness.
Yeah.
He was
For
not
good-
great.
for goodness, which leads to greatness, I have a different example also.
Uh-huh.
Sonu Sood.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the scale, dude. I mean,
Yeah, scale is different.
Yeah,
of
scale
course.
is
But
different.
he
But I would not
can
put it-
reach there.
relatively.
See, that's what he
Relatively.
can, but we don't know.
Hmm.
But hey, I have another couple of examples actually.
Mm.
Rabindranath Tagore,
Mm-hmm.
a good balance of greatness and goodness. Probably one of the best.
Again,
I would say
don't-
greatness through goodness. Like it started
Greatness
with
through goodness,
yeah.
but there's a balance at the end.
I
of the
don't know.
day.
I don't know about the balance part.
I don't know much
See,
about
one of
him.
them will come first,
Yeah,
Who?
right?
Tagore and-
that's
See,
why we have
even
like
in
4
Rahul
categories.
Dravid,
Yeah.
the fourth category, if you have to look at it, what came first, his greatness or his goodness?
I think his goodness was there.
Right?
first,
So
yeah.
one of the it's like chicken and egg thing. One of them. So in Rabindranath
No, but then
Tagore's
also because you don't become, like, I go back to the point which you said, you don't become great overnight.
yeah,
Greatness is something which you strive for at the end of the day,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So there's no way that somebody, when you're trying to balance it out, it will always be the goodness first.
So we always have to evaluate at the end point.
Exactly. So,
So
the
at the
goodness
end
which
point,
stops.
I think he had a fair balance. Same thing with Da Vinci. The contributions he made.
That's just a genius. Like
Yeah,
it's-
he's
can't
super,
argue.
Yeah, and he was also good. He was someone who actually entertained.
Was he? I don't know.
So the story goes like this, which I recently actually saw that recently in the sense about 4-5 months back, where Da Vinci actually encouraged his apprentice to copy his paintings.
Why?
Because one, there was a lot of demand, so people were asking him to do a lot of paintings.
Okay.
And the second thing is that when people came up to him and say like, can I make this painting, because if I do this painting in a different way, it will have a better impact, or whatever was the thing, Da Vinci never opposed it. Da Vinci was like, go ahead, do it.
Okay.
So a lot of his paintings.
But that apprentice thing, I just have to ask. Like, is it like an arrangement like you copy my painting, we'll sell it and I take a cut out of it?
No. It's all apprentice is basically I'm training you. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you get paid for whatever you have done.
Okay.
So once you finish your internship or something, right? So apprenticeship.
But
so you become your independent painter.
Isn't asking your understudy to copy your paintings rather than asking him to...
It's not he copied the painting. They came to him and asked like, can I do it?
Oh, okay.
It's not like he said, okay guys, now make 20 paintings of what I've already painted. Because I want to sell it.
I know an artist who did that and it kind of...
there's so many like that.
Changed the taste.
Yeah, there's so many like that. Yeah. But again, from whatever we know, whatever I've seen of Da Vinci, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I feel it's a good balance, you know.
How old are you?
What do you mean, how old am I?
You have seen Da Vinci.
The question is... Lostradamus.
A man of time and space.
But yeah, so that's a fair amount of examples.
Yeah, actually, when we started this off, I didn't think. I thought we'll just have for like the first and the fourth.
Yeah.
I thought second and third will struggle, but we actually got like some fair amount of examples for all four.
Yeah,
Nikola Tesla.
Look at this, we've been 1 hour 40 minutes already.
Yeah.
This is how it goes.
Yeah, but I think Nikola Tesla is a good example.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic example. The man was...
Just
I think he's
greatest.
Not greatness.
Yeah,
I think he's beyond that.
Yeah.
He's a genius of sorts.
And he met Vivekananda.
He met Vivekananda.
Yeah.
Maybe Elon Musk will break all that.
I don't think so.
No chance. I don't think so. I mean, no.
Cool.
I don't think so. But yeah, that
Guys,
was also there.
So I'm predicting
the
closure coming somewhere here.
Mm-hmm.
Brut, what is the next section of our podcast?
Tring, the parcel section.
Lostradamus, a man of prediction.
And precision.
Yay.
So this is the parcel section, guys. We are here to give our recommendations. And as we believe, as the guest is our God, Lostradamus
goes first.
Last, right?
It's Lostradamus, not Lostradamus.
Yeah.
Well, Lostradamus is lost right now.
We knew it from the beginning, but thanks for the reassurance.
Well, so, okay. The only thing which I can think about right now is, since I went with the Nelson Mandela example, I think one of the... And sports being one of my most interesting things which I like.
But do you watch Malayalam films?
Yeah, I do. A little bit.
Is there a good example you can give from that? Okay. Nelson Mandela it is.
Lostradamus.
Lostradamus.
A man who lost
So
his motherland.
combination of both in terms of greatness, goodness, everything. Like Invictus for me is one great example of watching.
Right.
Which kind of showcases everything that we spoke about in a sense. Picking out greatness from sports, team sport, also showing goodness.
Yeah.
And also for me, like the thing is that one World Cup or that one thing which shows can generate unity.
Yeah.
Right.
How a simple fight or a simple this thing, right, can get that unity in an entire country.
Yeah.
And which is also true. It's not like it was
a revolution.
It was a revolution for them, right? South Africa came in a factor saying that now, you know what? We are here for this.
Right.
Or we are going towards greatness at this point of time.
Lostradamus, one good thing you did was the parcel section.
Invictus.
Incredible. Invictus, guys. I think Matt Damon is in the movie. And also
Morgan
Matthew
Freeman.
McConaughey. Only Matt Damon.
Shady Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman was Nelson Mandela.
Shady Matthew. Shady, what was the guy's name? Matt Damon. And
there were quite a few. You can check it out.
Slightly Shady Mandela.
Yeah, it was made in early 2000s, if I'm not wrong. And it was a very good movie. It shows a lot of character.
I'm forgetting the name of the movie. Just putting it out over there. Like, since we're talking Invictus, the other movie also which I've seen, which actually brings the same kind of pride or the same kind of this thing is... the name of the... I'm forgetting the name of the movie. The movie is basically about the first time when the American ice hockey team won the gold in the Olympics.
Okay.
To defeat the US, at that point of time, USSR.
Okay. Russian.
And this is during the same point in time when like the Cold War was going on.
Was Steve Carell in this movie?
I don't remember.
He was a coach or something?
I think,
Even I'm able to
It was such a great movie again. Again, come at the same point. They show people coming from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And honestly, so in the movie and in the actual life, they don't play USSR in the finals. They play USSR in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And the great part about that full thing is that in every game that they won, including the finals, they went a goal down always. They always came back from behind to win the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's always such a fairy tale story, right?
Yeah, and
Manchester United
do
did
this thing.
the comebacks of Manchester
And
United.
also
Only
in
if you
sport.
follow.
No, I don't.
They lost 11-0 to USSR before the Olympics started.
Yeah.
They lost 11-0 in Madison Garden, and from there they came back.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the movie. Let me just Google that. By then,
Yeah.
Brut, why don't you go?
Cool. What about you?
Go ahead. I'll go after you.
Okay, it's a very kind of off the beat recommendation that I'm doing. It's an anime series by Naruto. It's called One Piece. It's a very interesting thing. So basically, the premise is the world is divided into three categories. One is the World Organization, which is basically running the whole, the society structure and everything. And then there is this pirate group where people are becoming pirates. And in search of, there's a revolution of pirates basically going out in the sea. And then there is the Navy, the military of the World Organization, which works for the World Organization, who's supposed to fight against the pirates, right?
Right.
So One Piece is that treasure, which the pirate king, who's called Goldie Roger, right? Who's the best pirate that the seas has ever seen. And everybody wants to get that title, right? Everybody is becoming a pirate to become that title. So basically, this guy was the Mike Tyson of pirates, who made pirate this full-time profession for normal people.
Okay.
So a kid from some city basically goes out into the sea to become the pirate king, right? And he is building his crew, and how he selects his crew, how he comes up across his crew, and what all obstacles he fights against and all that. That's what the series is about. It is funny in its own sense. It's like One Punch Man, which we already recommended.
Yeah.
It has that very, slapsticky Japanese humor to it.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a very long series. There are about 900 odd episodes right now. It's running its 900th episode or something. And, but it's very interesting because they put in a lot of real-time scenarios of how you become great. Like, how do you become a good leader? How do you become a good friend?
Right.
Right. So they play out all these scenarios and they put it out so well. The thing that I really liked about that series is the fact that they take this real time, our real life scenarios and our challenges of living a normal life, and they explain that through these characters.
Okay.
Right. So the Luffy is the protagonist. Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy, it's his name. And he is the protagonist of the whole series, where the stories revolve around him. And he himself, as a character, is very naive, who doesn't know his own powers. And yet, he's such an amicable guy. He takes everybody, like, he gives a lot of value to friendship.
Right.
And he gives a lot of value for ethics and what is right and what is wrong and all that. So, it's a good way of evolving his character. I don't think that they missed a beat, though they've gone across 900 odd episodes.
Oh.
They consistently maintain that kid's evolution. So it's a good series, a long series. So people who are interested in anime or cartoon series, they can check this out.
Work from home became interesting.
Yeah.
Also, the name of that movie is Miracle. Kurt Russell is in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a very old movie.
Yeah.
It's a very old movie.
One of the greatest actors ever, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell's.
Like, it was great. Like, very nice movie. If
Awesome.
you guys haven't seen Invictus and want to watch another movie like that, Miracle is one of them.
Yeah. Bogus.
For my parcel this time, I'm going to talk about one of the greatest comedy movies ever made. It's called The Life of Brian, made by Monty Python.
You're such a jackass, dude.
What?
You didn't even tell me this is coming.
I told you, Life of Brian. You asked me what was it. I told Life of Brian.
When?
Before the recording. Life of Brian.
I can see the future, not the past, so I can't help you.
Made by Monty Python in 1972. One of the greatest comedies ever made. So it opens on a sleepy night.
Houseful is the greatest comedy ever made.
Oh my God. That has to be for your podcast, Lostradamus. Coming soon on all platforms. But yeah, it opens on a sleepy night in Bethlehem, and a small boy is born, and there's light shining out of the hut. Mother is looking lovingly at the baby, and 3 wise men come on camels with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. What is myrrh? No one knows, but they bring it anyway. So they bring these gifts to this gifted boy who was just born, and they're looking upon the boy lovingly. One of them goes out for a minute and then comes back running in saying, "We are in the wrong hut." So the 3 wise men kick the lady down, grab the gold, frankincense, and myrrh from her hands, and then go to the next hut where Jesus Christ is born. And the boy who was born in that wrong hut, well, he's Brian. And this movie is the life of Brian. So, a brilliant movie that explores the human tendency to follow people, like obsessively. So, Brian becomes this kind of a fake prophet. People around him start treating him like he's a prophet and a messiah when Jesus is alive, contemporary time. And they show it like it's in the market. It's like the trend. Different groups of people will be following different people. He's the messiah. No, he's the messiah, and all that stuff. So it's really the best movies ever made in terms of a movie as a whole. But the funniest movie ever made, that they ever made, I think still is Holy Grail.
Holy Grail.
For sure. Like,
oh, sweet Lord.
It's side-splitting.
Yeah.
But Life of Brian is definitely the smarter version of it. And definitely the greatest.
They did go one level above.
Oh, yeah.
After the Holy Grail.
And it's a funny story that when they were shooting for the Holy Grail, right? Paparazzi used to hound these guys.
Yeah.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
So they caught hold of Eric Idle and they started pestering him. What's your next movie going to be? What's your next movie going to be? This guy one day he got pissed off and he just turned around and said, "Jesus Christ lusts for glory." Immediately they shut up because in that point of time, in those days, their society was more conservative.
Yeah.
So anything like this, they were like, they're not going to touch it.
Yeah.
So immediately they shut up.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, Eric Idle went back to the guys and said, this seems to be working.
Yeah.
So just say this. Then they started thinking about it a little more seriously. And they thought, there is actually a movie here.
Yeah, yeah.
And they made this brilliant genius of a movie.
Also, guys, you need to check out 2 more videos of Life of Brian. After you watch the movie, go to YouTube, check out this argument between Peter Sellers and not Peter Sellers, sorry.
Rowan Atkinson? Is that what you're saying?
That is a spoof of the interview,
yeah.
which is the second video you need to check. But the first video you need to check is the actual interview of Peter O'Toole and...
No. It's the John Cleese.
John Cleese and
Michael
Palin.
Yeah.
And they were put across a conservative priest.
Like Archbishop.
Yes, Archbishop
2 guys.
of...
They had a debate on BBC.
And the Archbishop was saying that how can you ludicrously make fun of Jesus Christ, who's like the father of our religion, etc. And these guys were trying to defend their standpoint of why they feel that they were not actually attacking Jesus, but they were running a completely parallel story which doesn't relate to hurting any religious feelings. So that's an interesting interview. And then the Blackadder team, the Rowan Atkinson team, made a spoof of that interview, which is also fucking funny.
Which is even better.
It was so hilarious.
You need to show this to me.
I'll show it after we're done with the recording. It's one of the most hilarious videos that you can watch.
Sounds very interesting, actually. It just also what excites me to what you just said, put across in terms of 2 videos, is that imagine being able to have a civilized discussion or a debate on that,
and then make a parody of it,
and then they have the balls, guts, everything to have them make the parody about that.
See, this is the beauty of British humor, by the way.
It was not pulling any punches, it was like biting satire,
even though I don't know anything on both the videos, that just interests me completely. I'm like, wow. Having that freedom to be able to do that.
Exactly.
Like how the British say the 0 fucks given.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was the Parcel section. The Life of Brian from Bogus, Invictus and Miracle from Lostradamus, and One Piece anime from Being Brute, saying that we bid adieu to Lostradamus.
What a great episode. We're at the end now. We just wanted to take a moment to thank Lostradamus for gracing us with his presence.
My blessings are with you.
And he only means me, by the way.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah. Alavidach.
Hey, thanks for listening. You can follow this podcast on Spotify to get notified of new episodes every Thursday. We're also on Apple Podcasts for those of you who have partaken in the forbidden fruit. If you liked what you heard, leave us a 5-star rating and a comment. Say anything like the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. A rating and a comment really helps us out. It's free, and I'm told that's a great price. But enough about us, huh? Tell us about yourself. Leave us a comment. Our Twitter is @ThyGap, and we are _ThyGap on Instagram.